Welcome to Chapter 4 of the PMBOK Guide, Integration Management. I am a man of fixed and unbending principles, the first of which is to be flexible at all times. Everett Dirksen. Integration management is about putting it all together. In this chapter, you will learn about the knowledge area Integration Management. The chapter is organized in the following order. Integration Management Overview. Develop Project Charter. Develop Project Management Plan. Direct and manage project execution. Monitor and control project work. Perform integrated change control. Close project or phase. Integration Management Overview. Integration management is about coordinating or bringing together all the different processes and activities in a project. This is achieved through the 6 processes which hold the project together. Think of it as the job of an orchestra conductor. The need for integration in projects is focused on integration between processes, integration between the project and performing organization, integration between project objectives. An example of integration between processes is when a project manager is estimating the costs of an activity. Estimating costs is a process in the knowledge area cost management. The activity costs are dependent on the duration of an activity. Duration of an activity is estimated in a process that falls under time management. Since the resulting activity cost estimate is dependent on the duration, a need for integration is evident. Integration between the project and the performing organization. When a project manager needs to integrate his or her project with the performing organization, the need for integration management becomes evident to ensure that priorities and expectations are aligned. An example of integration between project and performing organization is highlighted here. The project manager for building a house needs to integrate his final deliverable, the house, with the performing organization's program of building a township. Integration between project objectives. A project manager is expected to manage the interdependencies between the project objectives on an ongoing basis throughout the project lifecycle. Project objectives include scope, time, cost, and quality. Managing interdependencies is at the core of integration management. Think of integration management knowledge area as the glue that integrates or brings together all the other knowledge areas. As a project manager, remember that this is the only knowledge area that you cannot delegate, since you, as the project manager, are expected to play the role of holding the project together. Let's look at the first process in integration management. The Develop Project Charter process creates a document that formally authorizes a project or a phase. The creation of this document, the Project Charter, establishes the existence of a project. Have you been in projects where they started over a lunch or around a water cooler? Not having formal authorization for starting projects can result in failures due to lack of support and misalignment. The process of authorizing a project is aimed at preventing these common reasons for project failures. The Develop Project Charter process analyzes and documents the reasons for initiating a project. The Develop Project Charter process focuses on documenting the initial expectations from the customer. These initial set of requirements is then used to prepare the project charter. The initial requirements are at a high level and will be further elaborated with time. The Develop Project Charter process is also focused on linking the customer and the project. If the project is internal, the linking is between the performing organization and the project. This is the process where you, the project manager, will be assigned. The project manager must be assigned before the planning begins. The Develop Project Charter falls in the initiating process group and is the appropriate process for naming a project manager. Much of the work in developing a project charter is done by the sponsor or initiator. However, it is recommended that the project manager be involved in this process. Think about why this would be a good idea. The project charter is considered as one of the most important documents developed in a project. The project charter is an output of the process Develop Project Charter. The Develop Project Charter process needs inputs and tools and techniques to produce the output. This process is primarily concerned with documenting business needs, justification for the project, understanding requirements, and the new product or service. When learning about a process, such as the Develop Project Charter process, you need to focus on understanding the following. 1. Why do we need a particular input? 2. Where did this input come from? 3. What tools can we use to produce the output? And 4. What is the output that this process produces? You could also ask yourself one more question. Which other process uses the output produced from this process? Let's look at the presentation of each process. A process contains inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Let's look at what information is presented on this page. 1. This box contains the source of the output. 2. This box contains the input itself. 3. This diagram contains the tools and techniques used in this process. 4. This area contains the outputs generated from this process. 5. The rectangular boxes contain the processes that use these outputs. For the exam, you need to be familiar with the inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs, which are boxes 2, 3, and 4. However, it will be useful for you to know where these inputs have come from, which is box 1, and where the outputs will move on to, which is box 5. Let's look at the first process, Develop Project Charter. The Develop Project Charter process is a part of the Initiating Process group. The work involved in this process formally initiates the project. Let's look at the first input for the Develop Project Charter process, the Project Statement of Work. The Project Statement of Work is a narrative description of products and services to be delivered. For internal projects, the Statement of Work is provided by the sponsor. This is then used for preparing the charter. For external projects, the Statement of Work is provided by the customer. Think of the Project Statement of Work as a list of items that the customer has given you. This list contains the deliverables at a high level. The product scope description will contain the product or service details. Remember that the Statement of Work is issued by someone external to the project, like a sponsor or a customer. Along with narrative details about the product, the Statement of Work also contains the business need. The business need contains information about what the project result will translate to in business terms.